Well, if you look at the airlock, it's kind of pointing down towards the Earth. But when you're in space, there's no up or down. And so from your point of view, you can control what you want. If you want to feel like you're going down towards the Earth, you can feel like that. If you want to feel like you're coming up out of something, you can make yourself feel like that. But there is such a big difference from being inside the station to being outside the station. First, inside the station, you're protected by all the structure that is there. When you look out the window, it's not that it's 2D, but you always see the peripheral of a window. You always see a frame of something. When you get out on a spacewalk, you put your nose on your faceplate, you have no peripheral blocking at all. So it's almost as if your eyes are, and your peripheral vision is seeing the entire Earth or the entire universe all at once. So when you go from being inside the airlock to being outside the airlock, you go through that transition. And for me, the immediate response was, whoa, we look so much higher than we do from inside. And I think it's just that it's just physics. It's just an effect of the peripheral vision that you have and what you can see.
Well, tell me about this up and down aspect, because that seems to be, historically, we know where down is.
Oh, we have millions of years evolving in a 1G environment. And then after, getting into orbit takes 8.5 minutes, or 12 depending on the scenario. But let's say 8.5 minutes, you're in zero gravity when the main engine's cut off. 45 minutes later, you're doing another burn to circularize your orbit around the Earth. You're in zero gravity. There is no up or down. And at the beginning, you're so comfortable with having a down that you use the reference of the shuttle, the floor of the shuttle as your down, or the reference of the space station. There is, that in one orientation of the space station, the Earth is underneath you, so you use that as down. But just after 24 to 48 hours, you stop using that reference, and you end up your frames of reference, your reference points become quite local. Because you end up, imagine, if my head was down here, you start using different things for a reference. And this is what happens on a spacewalk. You can imagine that if you're translating across the truss, you can imagine that the entire space station is underneath you and you're translating above it. Or you instantly can flip it so that you're underneath the space station, translating it underneath it. And, one may be more comfortable for an astronaut compared to the other. And so you choose the reference frame that you want for every particular task. And in my case, I found that wherever my head was up, and this was very comfortable.
Now, of course, there is no small amount of danger to these spacewalks.
Yeah, it is risky, yes.
But, of course, you have a whole bunch of training for this.
And experience, too. There's years of experience now with and all the different lessons learned. And sometimes a lesson learned is something that happened that was minor on a previous mission, but you could see how if you combine that with something else, it could become major. And so we're just getting very much better at it with each. This is EVA 54, I think, for the space station right now. And we are getting better at it, but it is still risky.